about somebody you love, wondering where they're at, wondering if they're telling you the truth, wonder if tonight's going to be the night that you get that phone call. If that's you, wait with us for just a couple of minutes, and we've got some exciting things to talk about tonight.
Hey, everybody. We are Miles and Tina from Justin's Lighthouse Recovery, which we've been working with families of addiction and addicts for over 20 years. So if you're feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, heartbroken, and feel like you're completely out of answers, stay tuned with us for just a minute. We've been helping families for really over 2 decades.
Yeah.
But before we could help a single family, we had to deal with our own family because we were just like you. We've been that family. We've sat where you're sitting. We've cried those tears, and we've believed the promises, and we've paid for more things and then more things and new cars and apartments and legal fees and bail, hoping that if we just did enough, then our loved one would get better, only to be disappointed again. We have experienced firsthand what addiction does to a family, and it will destroy it. Sometimes, even when the addict maybe gets better, if the family isn't healing, then you still have this very disconnected family dynamic. So we want to offer you guys some hope because we know that recovery is absolutely possible for the whole family.
Right. Maybe you've tried everything. Maybe you've begged them, you've threatened them. I know that for a fact. You've rescued them, you've paid their bills, you even paid rent. I know a lot of families that we talk to say that they've paid for attorneys, they paid to bail them out of jail. Some families clean apartments over and over and over. They just pick up the pieces and pick up the mess, and yet there's nothing changes. And they get very exhausted, and sometimes they're even angry and scared too because they can't even recognize themselves anymore.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're dealing with, or you know anybody who's dealing with that, we understand, and we've got some solutions tonight.
Totally. I think one of the biggest lies that addiction tends to tell families, or that families kind of buy into, and my family did this too.
Yeah.
That if we can just help them enough, love them enough, rescue them enough, that they will finally get better. We absolutely believe that. And it doesn't work like that. What we learned too late. We still lost my younger brother 28 years ago. But in our professional experience, we have learned what does work and what doesn't work. And that's why we want to try to help your family not have to go through what we went through. We know that healing really begins with the family. And you don't have to really understand that. You just have to trust in that, because it feels counterintuitive as a family member. We think, no, we've got to take care of them first. And you think you're sacrificing your well-being, but really it helps feed into the addiction cycle.
Right.
So when families learn how to heal and what to do differently, the addict always follows. Families tend to enable in ways they don't understand. So it's certainly not the family's fault, and it's not on purpose, but it's so critical for families to learn exactly what's happening and the things that they can do to protect their own emotional health and their own mental health, their own spiritual and physical health.
Right.
When families become more healthy, even during the dysfunctional periods, the addict always follows. Addiction only lives in discomfort.
Right.
And so as the family gets more comfortable, more healthy, I'm telling you, the addict always follows.
Yeah. And we have seen this, for 2 decades, we've seen families have a transformation, not because their loved one all of a sudden started doing everything right, but it's because they learn how to they learn how to stop reacting, and they learn how to respond differently. They've learned how to have a healthy boundaries. They've learned how addiction affects the brain. They learn why people lie, manipulate, and blame, and why they don't keep the promises. Most importantly, they've learned how to get their lives back. And that's the exciting part of recovery.
I also think one of the most discouraging things that families deal with is because addiction comes with such bad behavior
Right.
that it's easy to think, man, if they would just get their act together, if they would just get their head out of their rear, if they would just live up to their morals, if they would live up to their values. The problem with that is we're not dealing with a logical issue. Logical solutions won't work. We're dealing with a real brain disorder. The addict feels tremendous shame because it's not enough, because they can't get it together. And so when families and the addict really understand what's happening in addiction and follow those solutions, then the success rate increases enormously. Hey, Amir, we appreciate you watching. So we want to invite you. We've got this free live event coming up on Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time. It'll be our second week. We tried it last week. We had some glitches. So if you kind of tried to sign in and you didn't find us, no sweat. We're going to be back. We did go ahead and do a recorded version of that. So if you want to see last week's or last Friday's live event, live/recorded event, go check it out. It's right here on this channel under the video section. But here's the things we're going to talk about at this live event. Why rescuing your addict child doesn't work. It does help to change their situation, right? You get them some new clothes, a new car, and I'm talking about every time they go through periods where they've just kind of crashed and burned. Oh my gosh, we got to come in, we got to make life better. And then the addict will do well for short periods of time. And then it's right back at it. And then we rescue again and we rescue again. It doesn't work. And there are very specific reasons for that. It's not because the addict doesn't love themselves. It's not because the addict doesn't love you. They don't know how. Rescuing wouldn't work with cancer, and it doesn't work with addiction. There's very specific mistakes that families make accidentally that will keep the cycle of addiction going. We're going to discuss that on Friday. I'm going to talk about how addiction actually rewires the brain. And so that's why when you look at your family member and they make just sometimes breathtakingly absurd decisions, and as family members, we're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Well, the addict's thinking the same thing. But there's reasons for that. The brain has been rewired in addiction. And so logical solutions do not typically work. I'm talking about full on addiction. There's a lot of false beliefs around addiction and recovery. We're going to challenge those. And ultimately, we're going to help you as family members find peace, even though your loved one may still be struggling. In fact, that's perfect, because that is our wheelhouse. That is what we do the best. We're going to help you change you, and it always leads your loved one into finally accepting help. So it's a win-win deal. And we're not talking theory. This didn't come out of a textbook. This comes out of over 2 decades of working with families of addiction, and another 40 years of us growing up in addiction environments and dealing with our own addiction issues and overcoming them. So we're not talking theory. We're talking actual solutions that make a huge difference in your life.
That's true. That's true. So if you're tired of living in fear, if you're tired of walking on eggshells, if you're tired of carrying a burden that really isn't yours to carry, it never was, we want you to know something, that there is hope. And we've seen families come back from places that were impossible. They never thought that they would have their family back to a normal state. We've seen that marriages have been restored, that tons of families, they focus just on the person that's sick and they don't take care of each other. So we've seen people get their lives back, and we've seen addicts recover. And that's the really cool part. It's the whole family gets to heal. It's not just the one person. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, or you know somebody that would like to hear this information, please join us, like Miles said, at 3 o'clock p.m. on Friday, because your story isn't over. It's just beginning.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it is.
I was thinking as you were talking about that, we have seen so many crazy experiences, like spouses who were done, like
Yeah.
moved out of the house. We're not doing this anymore, and taking the kids. But then when the husband, or and even sometimes the wife, when they finally started taking things seriously, um, couples get reunited.
That's right.
Families get reunited. I mean it. But we got to be in a right recovery system. Unfortunately, we do not have the greatest addiction treatment industry in this country, and it is flawed uh, to no ends. And I think that turns a lot of people off. They don't understand that there are right systems out there that will work. You've just got to be in one of them, and that's what we've been building for the last 2 decades, is a right system. We're not in that whole revolving door, get you in, get you out, what kind of insurance you got, let's build this and build that and build this and build that. We're real people with real experiences and real education to back it up, and we've got 2 decades that prove it. And we know we can help you. So please join us Friday, 3 p.m. This Friday, 3 p.m. Central Time. Come to our From Chaos to Peace live event, and we're going to get into some things. And bring your questions, because we're going to take some time to do some Q&As too. And I'm noticing another one is that Mia Emma. Thanks for watching, Mia Emma and Amir. And go check out some of our other videos. We got some really awesome shorts that are very educational. So if you're looking for help, or maybe you're just interested in this topic, there's a lot of great things in there. So please come and join us this Friday at 3 o'clock, and we'll see you there.
Sounds good. See you guys
Yeah,
then.
peace out.
Peace out.